Thank you, Tom. I appreciate the introduction. And I'm going to give an update on E15 and what's happened in the first half of 2020. Just like the ethanol industry, retailers have been facing a very challenging marketplace. They've seen a massive decline in fuel sales. This year, they have also been severely impacted on their in-store sales, which is where they make the majority of their money. So, in response to this negative market, what the retailers are doing is they're freezing their capital expenditures, and what that means is they're not spending money on new sites. They're not spending money on updating their older sites, and they're just not taking any actions beyond keeping their businesses running. In fact, many of the retailers have shared with me that these are the worst business conditions that they have seen since the 1980s. But yet, despite those challenging conditions, the market for E15 has been growing from a site standpoint. We have seen the increase of E15 sites by over 10% already in the first half of this year. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One has to do with the USDA HBIT program. So we started hearing about the program last summer, but we started getting some details from the USDA last December. And so what we did is we started recruiting retailers as far back as even December. We met with more than 25 retail chains representing 65,000 sites selling more than 50 billion gallons of gasoline annually, all with the idea of driving as much volume as we could through this program. Fast forward to the program itself, all the applications were due in mid-August. We submitted applications, Growth Energy working with retailers, submitted applications for 293 sites. We had it as high as 500 sites at one point, but because of some of the caps and restrictions and rules the USDA put around the program, that number was reduced to 293. So we applied for $33 million in grants with these partners. Again, we were as high as $55 million at one time, but that number was dropped to $33 million because of the USDA rules. So E15 will impact 443 million gallons of gasoline at these sites. We've also picked up 3 new retail partners through this program, including one of the largest retail chains on the West that will have a significant impact in the western side of the United States. So looking forward in September, the USDA will announce the grants and the awards and which retailers and which sites will get the money. And then the retailer has 18 months to install and make the improvements as they propose to the USDA. Now, it's important to remember that even though the retailer is given a grant, it's not a given that they're going to spend the money and put the product in place. So we'll be there working with these retailers, making sure that whatever barriers they run into, whether it's supply, marketing, equipment, or regulatory, that we're right there resolving those issues with them to ensure that these E15 sites get installed. So the other reason E15 is growing is quite simply because of the quality of the retailers that we have been working with. We've been out in the marketplace for several years now recruiting the independent retailers that are the innovators in the marketplace. These retailers are very bullish and positive on E15. They believe in the long-term potential for the product. So through our pipeline that we built going into 2020, we've actually seen a 10% increase in the number of E15 sites coming online. In fact, in August, we have a little over 2,200 sites operationally today. And as you can see on the graphic here, we're going to bring on board a retailer in the western side of the United States that's going to have a big impact on that geography as well going forward. So looking at where we could land for the end of the year as well as the next couple of years, assuming the capital expenditures are unfrozen here shortly, as the retailers have indicated will happen, we could see site growth as much as 20% this year. So 2,400 sites by the end of the year, again, in some of the most challenging market conditions that this industry has faced in a long, long time. So if you factor in our pipeline that we've already built, you add the USDA HBIT program in, and we've got a sales pipeline of somewhere in the neighborhood of close to 4,000 retail sites over the next couple of years selling E15.